So if there's no clear successor at this point, how will Al-Qaeda now go about appointing someone as the new leader?
Well, it's going to be hard for them. They can't have big meetings, big shurahs of the leadership and elect someone. It's going to have to be clandestine couriers between people that are operating in fear of their life, including in Afghanistan. And I think that is really noteworthy about this. With the American and NATO withdrawal, maybe people like Zawahiri thought that they were safer than before. That's going to have been a rude shock. So it makes it harder for them to elect and choose a leader, and it makes it harder for any new leader to operate.
When we look at the timing of this, we heard from the US President earlier that this has been months in the making. Plenty of cynics suggesting that this is coming just for the US midterms, and that's helpful for the US President and his team ahead of that. What do you make of the timing, or do you think it is simply they found him and waited until the right moment where they were assured of success?
Well, I think they found him, and they had to be meticulous in making sure it was him. And then they had to be equally meticulous in minimising the other casualties. Sounds like he was living with his broader family, and he was in a wealthy neighbourhood in Kabul. I don't think the timing has anything to do with US politics, because waiting for a politically opportune time and not having the strike go well would be an absolute disaster. This is all about optimising the chance of success and minimising civilian casualties. When you've got an elusive character like al-Zawahiri, you've got to act when you can.
We have seen today that the Taliban has responded. They're saying that the US essentially has violated a US troop withdrawal agreement. Do we expect much blowback from Afghanistan, from the Taliban on this?
Well, this doesn't look like it involved US troops. Certainly no US troops in Afghanistan, and it sounds like it wasn't even conducted by the US military. I think the bigger problem for the Taliban is, let's remember after 9/11 how the Afghan war started. It was about the Taliban giving sanctuary to terrorists that were organising attacks on other nations and innocent people. The Taliban really need to be very careful in conveying any impression that they're giving sanctuary to people like this dead Al-Qaeda leader. Are they giving sanctuary to Islamic State activists as well? So rather than condemning the attack, I think they need to be very careful to distance themselves from global violent extremists like this.
Because the level of intelligence that led to this surely shows that in terms of eyes on the ground, the West is still there as a presence in Afghanistan.
Well, yes. I mean, the idea that the Taliban are in total control of Afghanistan is a fundamental mistake. They're struggling internally. They've got a bunch of internal factions, and they're struggling with other extremist groups too. That's a pretty ripe environment for intelligence agencies to get sources and information like this. So, betrayal is not new in terrorist organisations and between them. The Taliban leaders are experiencing that firsthand right now.
Michael Shoebridge from the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, really appreciate your analysis. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Ash.